Baldur's Gate 3 is a long game, like way longer than most people expect. My first playthrough, where I decided to explore everything, took well over 100 hours. So naturally, with a game of this length, a speedrunning community always forms. And this community has thus far managed to bring the completion time for Baldur's Gate 3 down not to weeks, not to days, not to hours, and not even to tens of minutes. No, the world record for Baldur's Gate 3's any percent category sits at a minuscule 3 minutes and 19 seconds. After seeing this number, I just had to give it a go myself. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at this game by now, so it shouldn't be that hard, right? Well, I am giving myself just 5 hours to, from scratch, with basically no knowledge of the route, try and beat Baldur's Gate 3 as fast as I possibly can. I honestly don't have high hopes. Since I had no clue how most of the tricks in this run work, the first step would of course be to look at speedrun.com. Here we can see the 3 main Baldur's Gate speedrunning categories: any percent all acts, and sex percent. Looking at these, I saw that by far the most popular one was the normal any percent route, so that's the one I decided to try out, which is perfect as it is several times shorter than the all acts one. It should be noted that all of these runs are done on older versions of the game, but since I can't be bothered to downpatch my game, I will be doing it on patch 7, which from my testing seems to work almost just as well. Since I believe that doing is the best way of learning, it was time to just get in there and try to figure out what was even going on. Starting with the difficulty, which apparently is played on balanced. The reason why it's not on Explorer is to reduce our character's own HP slightly so that they will be easier to manipulate later. Then we come to character creation. Here we choose Gale, as he, unlike any other character, preemptively can end the game in Act 2, completely skipping the need to even enter Act 3. And since he's a wizard, he lets us pick 4 really important spells, all of which we will be needing. These being Enhanced Leap, Magic Missile, Fog Cloud, and Chromatic Orb. As for attributes, we need 16 Intelligence to even let us use these spells, 17 Strength to maximize the distance Enhanced Leap lets us jump, and 15 Dexterity for that slight bonus to initiation. Thankfully, the rules specifically state that you're allowed to start from the first autosave after character creation, so we don't have to repeat this process every single run. And yeah, we're in now, and after using Enhanced Leap and heading out of the first room, we already encounter the first trick jump. Now the setup for this one is not that hard compared to the other ones, but it can still be pretty precise. To do it, we start by jumping to this exact spot here. The cursor will actually snap to the exact spot we need to go to, so it's actually very easy to land on. Next, we go into tactical view, and after rebinding our interact option to something other than left click, I personally like using scroll wheel up, it is time to clip into the wall. Since we're in tactical view now, we can kind of look out of the map, and by moving our camera over a bit, we eventually get a view of this dark area here. If we try to use jump here, we get this message, not enough space, path is interrupted, because we're trying to jump straight into a wall. However, there exist a few spots that instead of saying not enough space, path is interrupted, only has the path is interrupted text. By hovering the mouse over this spot and spam clicking Z and whatever other interact button you assigned, Gale will straight up jump into and through the wall. It may look easy when I do it now, but I really struggled to begin with. Dash. We do it here. We jump? Question mark? Hello? There you go. What the what happened? Gale, get in there. What the Oh? Maybe that's it? If we manage to jump in the exact right spot, it will actually cause the nautiloid cutscene to trigger. However, I just kept falling through the floor after triggering this cutscene, and I couldn't figure out why. Turns out what I was missing was that since I'm on patch 7, all I really had to do was just reload the game after getting stuck in the floor. I did not discover this until I looked over at the speedrunning Discord, where I found this message. Of course, a comment made by the world record holder of every single category. Yes, you heard that right, this guy has every single record. Since we dashed before jumping into the wall, we can now very precisely walk over here and then simply jump all the way over to the transponder, finishing the nautiloid in as little as 30 seconds. This trick shouldn't have taken long, but it took me 40 minutes to figure out. And so with just one trick done, my first out of 5 hours had already passed. Out of the nautiloid now, we arrive down at the beach, and right away it is time for by far the most difficult trick of the entire run. It is kinda complex, but I will do my best to explain it. Whenever you drag an item out of your inventory, if you drag it too far away, the game obviously won't let you drop it, since your character is not standing within dropping distance. However, something strange happens when we still attempt to do this. For some reason, the game remembers the exact location of where we tried to drop the item, and it is here where things get really strange. We need a container with an opening animation, like this crate here. By opening it, and during the opening animation, quickly dragging it as if we were to move it, the container will be launched all the way over to the saved location, completely bypassing any collision it might encounter on the way. And it is this exact trick that we are going to use. By positioning the camera exactly here and then dragging a scroll from our inventory and dropping it over a very specific position next to this bush, we can then save the location of a spot on the map all the way over here next to the goblin camp. We now have the ability to, whenever we want to, teleport a box there, which of course doesn't really help as we also need to get one of our characters there. Thankfully, we can actually do that. All we need to do is, after setting this node thingy, jump over to Shadowheart as she is the perfect guinea pig. I spam through her dialogue and quickly eliminate her with a single magic missile before grabbing her corpse and going to camp. We can now stuff her body into the container and teleport it over to the other location. But of course, this still does not help as her body can't interact with anything as long as it's inside of the container. If we somehow could move it and then break it, that would do the trick. And here is where Chromatic Orb comes in. After using the fire version on the ground, it leaves a lingering fire area for 2 turns. By then dragging the box into this fire, it will take between 1 to 4 fire damage. More importantly though, it will also be lit on fire, taking an additional 1 to 4 fire damage next turn. As long as we manage to teleport the box away during this time and get lucky enough for these 2 numbers to equal 4 or more, it will break and scatter its contents on the ground, which in this case is Shadowheart. We are now close, way closer, but still we just have a dead Shadowheart laying inside a bush. And here is where the really hard part comes in. In this game, if a dead companion gets dropped into a cutscene trigger, the game doesn't really know what to do, and so since you can't be dead in a cutscene, just resurrects them for it. So we just need Shadowheart to land on a cutscene trigger, and there even happens to be one very close to this bush. So why did it not trigger? Well, it does trigger, but only if we save this exact pixel's location. This trick took me 20 minutes to get right 1 time during my first attempt. What the f... We take the box, we put it on the surface, we open it, we bam. Okay. I seem to have misplaced it slightly. Make fire on the floor, put the fire down, and then boom, it's gone. And wait for it. I fucking did it. After the cutscene, the game forces us into camp, and now we can simply select Shadowheart, leave, and then just enter for the mountain pass. Here you're supposed to speak with both Withers and Raphael before proceeding, but while you can leave dialogue with Withers immediately, Raphael has a whole cutscene where he drags you away to the House of Hope. So in order to not talk to him, we can instead use another magic missile, making sure that the first one lands on Withers by walking slightly closer to him. This first opens the dialogue with Withers, and then tries to do the same for Raphael, but since the game can't have 2 dialogues open at once, it just completely skips Raphael's dialogue. Now finally in the mountain pass, we just want to directly head into Act 2, and the fastest way there is right past these ghouls. Just walking or jumping past them won't work though, as they will spot us and then instantly initiate combat. So to get around them, we're gonna use our final spell, fog cloud. By putting it right next to the stone pillar and then jumping into it, somehow the ghouls won't spot us while in midair, so this lets us just jump right past them and down to Elminster. And after some more dialogue, we can now enter Act 2. At this point, you might expect us to be like 50% done with the run or something, but we're actually almost done, and the world record actually just needs 30 seconds from this point here to beat it. But how do you do this? Well, it's time to once again fling Shadowheart. Before leaving the camp back in Act 1, I made sure to also snatch this other box. We can now kill Shadowheart once more and then stuff her back into the box. From here, by dragging the box around this rock, zooming the camera all the way out and positioning it towards east, while holding down W and D, we get a view of this weird chasm right here. And the exact spot where we need to drop the box is just to the right of it. We can now use our final spell slot on another chromatic orb, put it on fire, and then fling it away once more. And upon breaking, this happens. Somehow, we instantly enter the Ketheric fight, as it turns out that the location we flung the box is right underneath his arena. Don't ask me how anyone found this, I have no idea, but it is really cool. Anyways, now with Gale as our main dude, we just mash through the dialogue, select the third option, and that's it, that's the run. All in all, it took me over an hour to get here, so I had now spent 2 of my 5 hours just trying out all the skips. And while it felt good to have finished the run, I still had a lot of work to do. At this point, even though I was through like half of the time I had with the challenge, without any real runs under my belt, I still decided to split the game up into sections and try to learn it piece by piece, which definitely turned out to be the way to go. Besides just getting generally way better at the different skips, especially the nautiloid one, I also picked up on a lot of the smaller moves which were done in the world record speedrun. That's why you do it. Oh, that's why you remove this. Cause look, this has like a long animation before I can move. But if I cast this and then do that, it cancels the animation. Where's it's like here? I did it. I jumped all the way in. Nice. After another 30 minutes, I felt ready and it was finally time to start attempting actual runs. But sadly, it was here where I realized just how much RNG really exists in this run. The fact that during both of the crate flinging tricks, the run could just get halted if either the fire rolled a 1 out of 4 to instantly break. Yeah, this is really annoying. This has happened 3 times in a row now. Or rolled a combined amount that was less than 4, causing the box to arrive at its location, but then simply just sit there. Combining this with the fact that the fling trick itself could feel very jank at times, and it really became frustrating after a while. Oh my god, Gale. Gale! Gale, what are you doing? Why did you walk around? No. It sure also didn't help that when I actually got it to work, a lot of the time Shadowheart simply would not trigger the cutscene, as I usually didn't get the exact correct pixel. I only got it to work like 1 out of 10 times, and all of this together meant that most of my attempts never even got past the beach. And so I spent the next entire hour without any successful attempts. The only saving grace was the fact that the run itself is very short. So short in fact that I could get to the run ending part in just 1 minute. And as I still had 90 minutes left, it meant 90 more attempts. And with enough runs, eventually everything was bound to line up. And this is the best run I managed to get. Oh man.
As you wish.
Helm's alien transponder. I moved my camera way too much. Nice. Okay. I think it's F2. Swap. Jump here. Leave. Let's go down here. Let's do this. Two at him, one at him. Leave. Go to sleep. Okay. That was so slow. I'm just gonna jump like here. Bucket. Just be safe. Okay, the final part. Here we go. Let's not mess up. Turn towards east. Oh no. Oh no, what happened? I don't know what happened. Wait, something's wrong. Is my camera too low? My camera's too my camera was too low. Oh my god, so much time wasted just because my camera was too low. It's fine, let's just finish the run. If I can. Oh, this would have been such a good time. This would have been such a good time. Okay, a 5:39 with the long cutscene. I lost a good 20-30 seconds at the end here to my camera just not being zoomed out. But even so, recounting the time without the loading screens, my final time came out to 3 minutes, 59 seconds, and 500 milliseconds, putting me just barely behind 6th place on the speedrun.com leaderboards. After this run, I did have time for a few more good runs. 2 of them had way better pace than what I had here, making it all the way to the final trick, but falling just short, as in one of them, the crate just didn't break. Okay. 2 damage, please. Oh, that was so good. And in the other one, I simply messed up the fling. Why? Why? So sub 4 minutes was my final best time and probably where I hang up my speedrunning cape. I'm just not made for this. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.